Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you've got the moon card, which is kind of fit in because this week we have a full moon in your sign, right? So you are being highlighted, you are being spotlighted in some way, shape or form. Under the astral or the astrological spotlight, you are, all right? So this is all about highlighting you in your best and brightest in a way, right? So happy full moon lunar return. So the fact that you've got the moon card here though, this could see you really, so like this might be a week where you're really trying to figure something out. It's like you're trying to get almost, you might find as well that this week you're looking for the detail, you're looking for the definition, you're looking for the clarity, but it isn't as available to you as you would like. Now that's interesting because you yourself, the spotlight is on you this week for sure, but the detail or the clarity that you might be looking for, it may be a little bit elusive this week. So just take that as a consideration. Remember as well, we are still in Pisces season and we're at the last part of Pisces season where there's a lot of energy building up, and then obviously we're going to move into Aries season right at the very end of this week. So there is going to be an energy shift or an energy change, and obviously this full moon is at a square to to the stuff that's happening in Pisces at the moment. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out for you, but I would probably not use this week for any hard and fast concrete decisions. It's a great energy for you being spotlighted or highlighted. It's just not so great for you in terms of, because the moon card itself brings a lot of can be illusion. Sometimes it can be the past that comes up, sometimes it can, and I feel like for a lot of you, if the past is showing up in any way, shape or form this week, it's literally for you to see how you are different in this situation. If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Lovers card, right? So lots of mutable energy, right? So the moon card is Pisces ruled, the Lovers card is Gemini ruled, you are Virgo, and so that's, all three are mutable energies. So there's a lot of mutable, changeable energies this week. I will say probably the best thing that I would say to you is this week, especially with the Lovers card in your actions and options, take everything, including your own decisions, with a pinch of salt. Remain open. This is not a week to lock anything in, right? Especially and it's funny because I say that and the full moon is actually activating Grand Earth trine, but even still, everything this week you need to consider it as yes, you know what, I'd love to do it, subject to change. Yes, I'll move ahead with that plan, subject to change. This person has promised that they're going to be there to help me with A, B and C, subject to change. Leave it open-ended this week. So, and the reason I say this is the Lovers card, Gemini ruled, that has a duality to it, and the Lovers card is about choice, right? So your actions and options, what you do, your choices are not as clearly defined or clearly cut as they usually are. Usually you guys are very precise. Virgo is known for being precise, being exacting, maybe even a little bit perfectionist at times if we're getting stereotypical. But that being said, everything is up for evaluation and everything is up for change this week. And whatever decisions you do make, I don't feel they'll stick, or they certainly won't come out the way that you are used to. All right, so just keep that in mind. When it comes to your communications and conversations, you've got the 10 of Wands. So this could literally be an old conversation that has come up time and time again. And maybe this is something you haven't been able to settle on. Maybe you haven't been able to settle on an idea. Maybe you haven't been able to get the answers that you were hoping for. It just suggests to me that this week, a conversation that you've had over and over ad nauseum is going to come up. And, you know, you may just, it's kind of like one of those things, though. Sometimes you ask the question and you get a different answer every time. And at first you're like, okay, well, you know, it's cool, like things change. But then you get to a point where you're like, okay, if I don't get a straight answer and it's the same answer this time, I'm going to lose my shit. It might be that. It may also be that this week you open, and I will say this to you as well, because it's the 10 of Wands, whatever subjects you open up, whatever conversations you go in to open up, just be conscious. Most of the time, I would say, when it comes to a verbal joust, you guys will win, hands down. However, that being said, this week, if you open up a can of worms, you may just let a snake out, and one that's going to bite you quite severely. Just be very, very conscious of the conversations that you open up for discussion this week, because you may get a little bit more than you bargained for. That being said, for those of you that are studying, be sure, and you know, as sure as you can be, leave it open-ended. If you pick a topic of discussion, if you pick a topic of an essay or whatever, leave it open. Do the reading around it, do some loose kind of digging into it to ask yourself if it feels like the right direction. And the reason I say this is because with this 10 of Wands, you may find that you get a certain way into it and then you think, actually, no, this doesn't feel... It feels like it's either going to be too much work or it's going to take me down some paths that I'm not really interested in walking. All right, leave everything open-ended this week. For those of you that work for somebody else, I would give yourself some leeway when it comes to leaving or ending a current job or employment. All right, this might be a time where you really start to think about the longevity of the career that you're in, or maybe even the job that you're in or the company that you work for. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that work for themselves, this may very well be a week where you're having to let down some of your burdens or hand over. So if you're a one-man band, this might be a time where you're having to hire somebody to delegate some of the duties that you have. If you already have a team, you may need to either diversify that team, or you might need to change some of the duties around, like maybe it's not fairly shared, maybe somebody doesn't want to do what they've been tasked to do. Obviously that's going to open up a whole other can of worms. Be careful. And for those of you that are retired and no longer working, I mean, this could be a time where there's a lot being said, but not necessarily a lot of substance. All right, so pay attention to the conversations that are being had and ask yourself how much of it feels like something you want to dive into. For your love and relations, you've got the Moon card. So this is a double hit of lunar moon energy / Piscean energy. It's strong, right? When it comes to partnerships, relationships, love relationships, you may just be, excuse me, you may be just wanting to spend more time with the lover, more time with the partner, and you might just be kind of in that space where you're like, oh, can life wait while we just enjoy some time together? That's great, but to be honest with you, I kind of feel like your partner might be like, no, it can't wait. You've got stuff to do, and so have I. Come on, tip top, let's go. When it comes to those of you that are single, I'm sorry to say, but this is blast from the past energy. And, you know, you've got a double hit of the Moon card. You've got the Lovers card there. I'm going to say this. Someone from your past may come up for you. It might be in the dreamscape. It might be in actuality. I would be very conscious of your thoughts this week, because it may be you that's drawing them in. For your money and materials, you've got the Page of Swords. So it's not close proximity, but it's close enough. The time of Gemini, whatever you're doing at the moment when it comes to your finances, money or resources, you will be revisiting this in Gemini season. All right, so pay attention to what's happening around money, finances and resources. For some of you, this could be wanting to take on new help, hire new help in, etc. But for others, this could also be communications that come in, i.e. a letter, a document, maybe a request request of funds for something. And I'll be interested to see what that comes up as. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, I often say with this card, the body bears the brunt of the thoughts, right? So if your thoughts are doing 10 to the dozen, your body's really going to get tired out quickly this week. And then when it comes to the home and environment, honestly, home just looks like it's either going to be very busy or possibly a little bit fractious. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, especially for those of you that are ascendant Virgos, to a lesser degree but still relevant, the sun and the moon, this full moon is taking place in your sign, in your first house. This is spotlighting and highlighting you. This is a full moon on your sun, your moon or your ascendant that is highlighting some aspect of you to the world. You're a lot more visible right now, and so therefore you have to be a lot more responsible right now. And the reason I say this is it's kind of like, you know, those moments where celebrities don't realize that their mic is on and they're really tearing a stripe out of somebody. It happened to the royal family here a few years back. Hilarious. Prince Charles and his boys were stood there tearing stripes off of the media and didn't realize that their mics were on. Totally hilarious, extremely inappropriate, and obviously embarrassing for them. This could be one of those weeks where everything that you do is being seen or being heard. So you got to be really responsible with the way that you carry yourself. For your full for your full moon message, you've got the Gate 9 and small details, and this card is all about definition. This full moon, I'm sorry to say, my dear Virgos, is not going to let you hide, right? You got a double hit of the moon card. You got the small details card, which is all about paying attention to, you know, like you do, precision, etc. It does suggest, and like I said, the full moon putting a spotlight on you, you could be fully visible this week, even in a place or a space that you don't want to be. So you got to be very mindful of what you say, especially, like, this is not the week to slag people off, all right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.